say, one person who would decide the NBA Finals for everybody, whether it's for the Suns or the Bucks, who would it be? I guess your X factor.
Oh, it's going to be Booker. He's not an X factor, but his ability to just fill it up. He's the one guy in this series that at any point in time can drop 40, 50 points and really just take over a game.
Right.
I mean, there's plenty of guys out here that have done it. I mean, we know Middleton can do it. A healthy Giannis can do it.
Right.
Booker does it in that same fashion of what we were used to. Like when you see somebody like a Kobe take over, you see like Durant just go ham on somebody. Booker has that gear, and his hot switch is that hot. I mean, he's really primed to take over like that. I mean, last night he put up 27 points, and he didn't even shoot well. And he was 8 for 21 in that game, but he went 10 for 10 from the line because he just started going to the rack. Like, man, I'm just going to just bully y'all because he can do that. He's got versatility to the game. He has an outside shot. He plays the mid-range game. He's long, and he can get to the rack, shoots great from the free throw line. I mean, this is one of the few times where you saw him really have a game like that when Chris Paul also played well. Because normally Chris Paul plays well, and it kind of makes Devin Booker's production fade because he doesn't have the ball enough. Because sometimes it looks like Chris has the ball just a little bit too much. This was one of those rare occurrences. And, I mean, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention DeAndre Ayton. Like, I mean, it's Ayton. I always mispronounce it.
I was like, you should say Ayton.
Yeah, it is Ayton. My bad. But it looks like it's Ayton. But, man, he hooped, though, man. 22 and 19. I mean, like, you definitely can't turn a blind eye to that. I mean, this dude is young. He was a number 1 overall pick. It took him about a season or two to really come into his own, but now he's really doing dirt down there. I mean, like against the premier big men in the league. He's not getting bullied by Giannis. He wasn't getting bullied in any of the series that he played in all throughout the postseason. So, I mean, definitely you got to tip your hats to them just for the mere fact that this team is really young. I mean, outside of CP3, all of these guys are fairly new. I mean, I know a lot of these names to the casual basketball fan, they're like, who is this guy? I mean, I know most of y'all, hell, I didn't know who Campaign was. I mean, this dude would be hooping to the point where even when CP3's not in the game, he comes in and he changes the whole dynamic. That team plays really fast when he's in. So, I mean, at points, depending on what the rest of the game is looking like, when Chris Paul is slowing it down too much, they can take him out, change gears, and now this is a running gun, young team, and then you can slow it down, put Chris Paul back in, and get everybody back together before they actually just shoot themselves out of it doing too much. So, I mean, they have a nice formula set together right here with this Suns roster, on top of the fact that, like I've been saying for quite some time, Lady Luck lives in Phoenix.
Yeah.
She does. I won't say we've never seen anyone get an injury ride, but every single series they've played against the team without their best players.
Yeah.
You know, like AD was out, LeBron was nicked up.
Mm-hmm.
No Jamal Murray.
Yep.
No Kawhi Leonard. Now Giannis is hurt. It's not like it's the secondary guy or anything like that. It's like you have literally not faced a healthy team
with their best player healthy. Yeah. Yep.
I mean, you can't just let that go without mentioning.
No, you're right. It definitely holds some weight. I don't want to have anything taken away from Chris Paul, though, because we do have titles. Not more often than not, but there are breaks every year for teams. But I won't lie, yes, the Suns have got a huge break this year. No question about that.
This is worse than the bubble.
Now, I will give that to you. It kind of does feel that way. It's like, okay, no rest. You just kind of won't have to play any superstars, really, on the way there. Like, or if it is, they're like C+, at best because of their health. But no, man, if we're talking about a player or an X factor that would truly decide this series, I think you got to take a look at Khris Middleton, absolutely. Since Giannis has went down, he has, without question, been their best player on the floor. This guy's turning into a part-time leader. I mean, he feels like a Swiss Army knife. He's shooting, he's rebounding, passing, making plays, making his team better around him, showing the league how deep the Bucks truly are. And I was really sleep on the Bucks for a while because I didn't think that they were a true team that actually had depth and actually had a bench or players outside of Giannis that could truly contribute for them. You look at the fact that Bobby Portis is averaging 15 plus a game when Giannis doesn't play. Both Drew Holiday and Khris Middleton are averaging 20 plus a game when Giannis doesn't play. But speaking of just Middleton specifically, he's averaging 27 a game this year without Giannis. That's huge. I mean, that's basically being a number one player right there. Like, that's what MVPs usually average in a regular season when you're going on to win. Now, I'm not saying Khris Middleton is an MVP, but he's playing like this team's MVP right now. He is playing like their best player. And when you look at how he's been able to just really silence the haters, because a lot of people say, Khris Middleton's super inconsistent, which he usually is. But he's showing you in these playoffs, and, the spotlight is really on him because Giannis isn't in, and you understand that he's got to step up and be that guy. But he's showing you that he can be that Paul George kind of guy. I can be that consistent number 2. I can give you potentially 20 to 25 a night, and I can lead the team. We're not going to feel held captive because you're not here. And I love to see it from Khris Middleton. I hate how he did the Hawks because he really had some huge games. And you look at game 6 against Brooklyn, 38 points, major outing. So really, he's kind of being Paul George just in the East. When they need him to step up, he's doing it.
But are you giving him credit for being consistent, figuring that those numbers are when Giannis is out? They need for him to produce like that while Giannis is playing.
But he doesn't have to. That is the perfect catch, is he doesn't have to. Now, of course, if he did.
That's why they haven't won. Every year they get right to the pinnacle.
Yeah.
And then Giannis can't get it done. And then it's like, where the hell is Khris Middleton? And that's why he gets that rap. Because he doesn't do it when they need it while Giannis is there.
Right. Feels a little backwards now, doesn't it? Giannis is out. Now you want to play how you should be when Giannis
Giannis playing last night, he was a shell of the regular Giannis, so that's why Khris Middleton jacked up 26 shots, and he actually had a nice game. But it's like, can you produce like that alongside Giannis? They just aren't coinciding and meshing at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's why you get the results you get. It's very well possible. That's one of the next
they bring in the Drew Holiday in place of, to try to help Giannis with Middleton because he's not stepping up. Yep.
Yeah. If Middleton was doing this, then they wouldn't have had to waste anything on Drew, and they could have built some more depth.
Yep.
They paid a lot for him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they moved mountains. And a lot of people were saying, too, once it happened with Milwaukee, is okay. Now you got another guy. When you look at Milwaukee's lineup, Drew Holiday, Khris Middleton, Giannis, Brook Lopez, you got a PJ Tucker out there, you got a Connaughton. They've got guys. So I agree with you. Middleton has definitely needed to play like this in the past, which now it's just going to be kind of more of a spotlight. Okay, dude, you can play well without Giannis, our best player. Where are you when he's in? Man, we could be winning these games by a slide. We could have been to the finals. Coach Bud might not be on the hot seat if you're playing well. I get where you're coming from, man. Definitely a good point there.
Oh, they say Ayton on 2K. Oh. Kareem, Kobe, Jordan. That's an interesting top 3. I don't think I've seen anyone order them that way.
Oh, come on, Ryan. I know you had a typo in there. I know you didn't mean to do that. That must be.
I can't argue with anyone that has backwards. Kareem at 1.
3-2-1. I'm thinking that's 3-2-1. There's no way Jordan is 3 below Kobe. I'm sorry, but that's disrespectful.
I can't argue with anyone who has Kareem at 1. There's no argument against Kareem at 1.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally just folks that either didn't see him or don't like the way he played.
Right.
When you start lining it up for all the accolades that you talk about, it's there's really no debate.
Yeah.
6 championships, 6 MVPs, 10 trips to the finals, 3 NCAA championships, 2 high school championships. The dude just won everywhere.
Yep.
It doesn't. Whose resume are you putting up against that? It's not even close.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't. It's hard. It's really hard. But now, next question with this NBA Finals, man, is whose legacy do you feel like needs this the most? Is it Chris Paul or is it Giannis?
I think it's a 2-piece question.
Mm-hmm.
I think right now, CP3 needs it more because he's at the end of the road.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have that much longer to play.
Right.
And that's the biggest knock on his resume, is that he's not been able to get a team there and get them over the hump.
Yep.
But I think for Giannis, it would be bigger for the trajectory of his career and legacy. Seeing as how he's got 2 MVPs, a Defensive Player of the Year. This is basically one of the, okay, if you can't get it done now, you're about to get written off to he's a great player, but he can't get it done. Can't take a team there. He has not evolved his game. He cannot shoot. He's one-dimensional. And he's going to really have to start eating all of that to the point where he really might start digging and grinding at his psyche until he figures out how to expand his game to where people don't build walls because they know you can't shoot. And he's airballing free throws. It's bro, you're a liability. They're starting to take Giannis out of the game at the end of the game.
Yep.
It's it would mean way more for Giannis right now for the trajectory of his career, but who needs it more at this moment because of where he is in his career and the length is Chris Paul.
Absolutely. I think it's Chris Paul all day, twice on Sunday, every day, all hours, all seconds, all minutes. It's 100% Chris Paul. Because you look, this guy needs this finals win more than anything. And it feels like a double-edged sword for him because people argue all day about Chris Paul being a top point guard, top 5, top 10, wherever you want to put him. I don't personally know where I have Chris Paul. I haven't sat down and went through, my top point guards of all time. I would probably put Paul in the top 15 area, maybe 10. See, I don't even know. Don't want to even spill off into that. But when you look at it being a double-edged sword, he's never got out of the West. He's never been to the NBA Finals. He's always been caught up in the conference finals his entire career. And here's the thing, like we were talking about, if Chris Paul wins, because of all these injuries, people are just going to blast him again probably. Oh, it's a fake ring. People want to talk about these fake rings. Like apparently there's never been breaks in sports and these super teams are all new. Like it's kind of funny how we see these things in sports and people get all bent out of shape. So they want to twist some of the most original things. Like we're not going to discount his ring. Yes, there's been injuries, but think about it. Injuries have been such a common thing. The bubble, the condensed season, less games, less than 3 months off. Like everybody had to deal with the same stuff. Let's just give the credit to the Suns. Let's give Chris Paul his flowers finally because he's in the finals. He dropped 32 points in his first game. And at the end of the day, when it comes to this Suns team, Chris Paul is an all-timer. And also at the end of the day, if he doesn't win the finals and everybody's going to be blasting him again, oh, wow, you can't even win with the injuries. It's a double-edged sword. It really is. Think about it. If he wins, oh, we're going to discount it. We're going to discount it because he won. But then if he loses, oh my God, he didn't win. He didn't win with all the injuries. We can't give anything to him. It has to be Chris Paul. We know he's a great leader, great mentor, great distributor, makes every team that he's went to better. He elevates players around him. That is greatness at its finest. We cannot take that away from Chris Paul. But unfortunately, he has always had an unlucky injury on himself. He's always shrunk a little bit in the playoffs, and maybe he's just getting a better roll of the dice now. I don't want to take anything away from the dude. I think Chris Paul is an all-timer, and this is 100% for his legacy. I mean, no question about that.
I mean, he's an all-timer, but I think you have to...
I know how you feel about him.
You have to put it into the same context as, what we think about the Toronto ring.
Yeah.
It's Kawhi Leonard gets credit, but he does not get the utmost credit for it because we all know they would not have beat that Golden State team healthy.
Yep. Ryan, you and I were just talking about this today, too. I think Golden State probably would have won in 6 or 7. I mean, there's no question.
No Durant and then no Clay. So
right.
Come on, that's not Golden State.
Yeah, that's arguably the best starting lineup of all time. You have 3 of the top 10 shooters in history in your starting lineup.
Yeah, I mean,
get the hell out of here.
What he beat to win those finals is the Golden State Warriors that didn't make the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
He beat that team.
Right.
It just so happened to get reduced to it in the finals.
Yep.
But even to the point of comparing Chris Paul's run this year to his run.
Yeah. Talking about Kawhi's?
To Kawhi's. On the way to the finals, Kawhi torched some very good teams. Shut down Giannis.
Bucks, Sixers.
Yeah, shut them down. Hit the crazy walk-off game winner against the Sixers. I mean, he had some legendary performances on his way to that championship.
Yeah, he did.
So at least it was memorable in that way. It's you didn't see, there was no, Chris Paul ate up the Lakers. Oh, no, the Lakers were hurt. Chris Paul,
Chris Paul averaged 9 points in that series. I looked that up earlier today.
Yeah. That was the Booker and Ayton show.
Yeah.
I tried to call him Ayton again. I can't help it. It's a habit.
It's all good.